my body's changing, barely maintaining. I've been seeking meaning to these great and fresh feelings, nowhere to turn it. My gut is yearning, my temple's burning. Teach out to the learning. You see my all this shit so new. Real was overdue. Had no clue, and I was so naive. With no belief, talk to me, hear them scream. 21 and 22 and 23, I can really tell what's happening. Said it's all a part of the growing pains of seeing stranger things and feeling stranger things. 21 and 22 and 23, I can really tell what's happening. Said it's all a part of the growing pains of seeing stranger things and feeling stranger things. And you see my dues, all this shit was new. Real was overdue, had no clue, and I was so naive. With no belief, these walls they talk to me, I hear them scream.
Hey everyone, what is up? Oh my gosh. Happy, what to say, Wednesday?
Yes,
How
Wednesday.
is everybody? Yeah, that's crazy. Oh my goodness, this is so exciting. Hello, Elise. What's up, Dusty? Hello, Angie. Thank you all so much for being here today. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Okay. Well, hey everyone, welcome to my dream job journey, a new kind of event from Adobe where we chat with special guests on how they achieve their dream careers. I'm your host, Katrina Torrijos, and I am the Adobe Creative Cloud Express Evangelist. Shout out to everyone in chat. Hello, Jacinda. We have Lisa Temple on our team that is hanging out in the chat with you all today. We also have Megan Reinhardt here powering the stream. Shout out to you, Megan. Hello, everybody. Oh my gosh, so many people here. I love it. Kurt says, good evening. I appreciate being in your presence. Well, we are honored to be in your presence as well. Awesome. Hello. Oh my gosh, so many people here. Okay. Well, let's get started. Today, we are joined by Shyne Webster and Arial Robinson, two brilliant creatives who run their own businesses and are also full-time students. We'll be doing a Q&A session, and they'll also be taking us behind the scenes on how they use Creative Cloud Express to create some really cool projects. Also, stay tuned to the very end because we are having an after party in Discord. In the Discord VC, I will share where the party is going to be at. So here is the Adobe Creative Career Discord server. We're going to be hopping in the party room. And as you can see, Megan is there right now. Let's see if she answers. What's up, Megan? Hello. All right, we'll leave her in there, but this is where we will be hanging out during the stream or after the stream. So yes, so we'll be hanging out over there, and we're also doing a giveaway where a few of you could be randomly selected for a mentoring session with Shyne and Arial, and also possibly win a free 1-year Creative Cloud license. Awesome. Okay. So let's see, Lisa, I'll be dropping links for everyone. Nice. I'm highlighting some comments. We got Mauricio. Lisa, join our Discord server. There you go. Awesome. Jordan says, let's go Shyne. Nice. You got some fans in here.
Woohoo! Community showed out.
Yes. Toyin says, my room is so pretty. Thank you. Thank you. I'm actively working on the set right now. All right. How do I? Okay. This is how you hide questions. Okay. Or comments. Nice. Okay. Cool. Awesome. So, all right, you two. Are you ready for some questions?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, so we're going to start with introductions for those out there who are just meeting you for the first time. Who are you and what do you do? We'll start with Shyne.
Hi, everyone. My name is Shyne Webster. I am a full-time college student, as Katrina mentioned, and I'm also a founder of a brand consultancy / creative studio called Designed by Shyne. Crazy, I know. Basically, what that means is I combine strategy and creativity across like different mediums like design, brand strategy, content creation, stuff like that to design and grow awesome brands.
Nice.
Awesome. Ariel?
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Arial Robinson. I am a multimedia journalism student at North Carolina A&T State University. And outside of being a student, I am a multidisciplinary artist. I work with mediums like photography, creative direction, and I'm also the author of 2 books, my first being The Modern Day Black Alphabet, and the second being Black Hair Care and Color. And I've used all of my skills to work in the marketing departments of some of your favorite companies.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh, I didn't know you wrote 2 books. My goodness.
Yeah. And I also make music. So that's one of my mediums. You guys have seen one of my music videos.
Amazing. Wow, you two are on to really amazing projects. Also, just a note, we are taking Q&A from chat. So if you have any questions at all, feel free to drop them in the chat and then I will add them to our question queue as we go throughout the session. Okay, so the next question I want to ask is, how did you get started in your career journey? What were those first steps that you took towards this full-time student, but also full-time creative business endeavor? Whoever wants to start.
I'll start.
Okay, I'm like, you start, but I don't know.
Okay.
I'll start. Okay, you go first on the next one. All right. I'm just gonna go first because mine's pretty quick. Honestly, it was kind of a whirlwind. I started my business by accident. So the summer right after I graduated high school, I started selling t-shirts, which was kind of the birth of Designed by Shyne in its earliest phase. So it started out as a clothing brand. I totally did it for fun. I didn't have a job at the time. I was just getting ready to go to school and I just wanted to do something fun and creative. And then I met a business coach and won a scholarship and pivoted the business, eventually turning it into my current brand design studio. But it really just sort of started with me doing a clothing brand, pursuing a passion project. So I know a lot of people say that like business doesn't happen overnight, but I truly do feel like my career so far has been kind of like an overnight success or whirlwind. It's very just crazy how it happened.
That's
Cool.
amazing. That's so cool. From my end, mine's is a little bit different. I've always wanted to work in entertainment, culture, arts. And I had an Instagram account since I've been in like middle school. And so my first goal was to get to be the most popular out of my friends. But it really wasn't until the pandemic when I was at home every single day. I didn't have a job or obligations. And every day I would wake up and create content. And so I would say that was my first time being very consistent in my creation. And from that opened all the doors of the jobs that I've now had, because I was creating these fake Nike ads and taking photos at home just because it was fun. And I wanted to post on social media, but then it blossomed into me becoming this full-on creative.
Wow. That is super inspiring. And I think continuing on that, like, so what was that exact moment where you decided or just knew that this was the right path for you?
Yeah. So sometimes I still wonder if it's the right path for me, but the fact that I'm having fun, I'm like, it has to be. But it really wasn't until back in March of 2020 when I was creating like all of these graphics, and one of my alums, so an alum from North Carolina A&T, DM'd me on Twitter and was like, hey, I really like the content you've been putting out. Let me connect you with one of my friends that works at the company. And I'm like, oh, wow, like that really exists. Like me creating this post just solely because I enjoy taking photos every day turned into me creating this connection. And from there, I realized that I could do this for real. Like I could actually create, I could be in charge of what's being created and put out by companies just based off the fact that I knew someone who wanted to connect me with someone else.
Nice.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's so funny that you say that you feel like you still wonder, because I was gonna say too, I don't think I've ever really realized or decided. I think I'm just here. I mean, I don't know. I think it's kind of happened so naturally, and same thing for me. Like I really kind of started my business when we were really staying at home and there wasn't anything else to do. So I never went into it with the intention of like, I'm gonna do this and this is gonna be my career forever and I'm ready to like stake my claim and meet all these people. Like I just did it because I didn't really have anything else to do. And I don't know if I've ever to this day still made a conscious decision. I mean, I love what I do, but I'm also totally open to whatever the future has for me. So same.
Nice, nice. Okay, I have a question in chat. This is from Shaista. If I'm saying your name correctly, please let me know, or incorrectly, let me know. But what are some struggles that you had with starting your own business?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would say for me, because my business isn't your traditional business, usually you think about a business being somebody who has a product and they're selling it and they're making money. For me, I am my business, my ideas, my ability to connect with other people is how I bring in my money. I would say that one struggle that you have is like being afraid of not knowing or thinking that there's one way to do something. And that's not the case. If you are a creator and you want to turn your creations, your ideas into money, it definitely exists. You just have to get creative with your approach. So that might be putting out, stuff on Instagram or connecting with people who work at companies or are in roles that you want to be in. So one struggle that I had is being afraid to just try because you're afraid or you think people will deny you. And somebody may, but that's okay. Like you have to put yourself out there and you have to be very confident in yourself. So I would say that having that self identity, I still struggle with it today, being confident. But if you just continue to stay on a path that you really think is for you and doing things that truly make you happy, you will naturally attract the things that you've always wanted.
Yeah,
Snaps for that.
yeah, snaps. I would honestly say same as Ariel. I mean, I think it really comes down to you feeling confident. Like, I think the biggest thing is the sort of like analysis paralysis or feeling stuck in indecision because you don't know how to get to where you want to go or you don't know how to do what you want to do. But nobody ever knows how before they do something new, right? You figure it out in the process. And honestly, if you know how to do something before doing it, then you have nothing to learn. So there's no point, right? So I think, yeah, being confident that you can learn how to do something or create your own way to do something. And also for me, it's been a lot of time management and self care. And I think the biggest thing for me was also like learning about the way that I think, learning about the way that my emotions come up and how I process emotions has been huge. Like a lot of people don't talk about this, but entrepreneurship is a huge self discovery journey. And if you don't have people around you that you can lean on for support, or if you aren't taking the time to be introspective and give yourself the care that you need, like it's hard. You will face mindset spirals, you will face doubts, you will face jealousy. Like these things come up, but it's just about how you handle them and how you use them to kind of help propel you forward. And so definitely like prioritizing self-care, making time for your actual life outside of business is huge to me. That I think those have been some of my biggest struggles that I still face.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yes.
good.
Snaps to that. In chat, we have so many people vibing with everything you just said. Jordan said, love the hustle, Ariel. Toyin said, so inspiring. Noel, love this. So inspired. So good. Do work, y'all. Andrea says, awesome job, ladies. Love seeing your progress and productivity. I'm hoping that some of my students are in here tonight listening to and being inspired by your stories. If any of Andrea's students are in the chat, please put your hands up.
Yes.
Let's see. Lisa says self-care, yes. Okay, so there's when I do a lot of these interviews, one thing that always comes up in chat that I'm going to ask both of you is, how do you combat or overcome imposter syndrome? That is so common,
Yeah.
especially when, like, we have young entrepreneurs or people who want to start their careers young. Like, they feel, that they might not know everything or to be good enough to be like a leader in the space or something like that. So being business owners, how do you all overcome moments of imposter syndrome?
Yeah. I think for me, I mean, I know people always say, real imposters don't have imposter syndrome, know yourself, know your worth. And those things are great and true. And they make really good tweets and social posts, but like easier said than done. Like, what am I supposed to do with that? So I'll let you in on some of my tips. I don't know, I've never exposed myself like this before, but honestly, I have a folder on my computer called Brag. And it's like every kind comment, every testimonial, every award, every screenshot, just things to affirm myself in when I'm feeling doubtful, because half the time these doubts, these feelings of being an imposter are things we literally just make up. Like, the data does not support this. Nobody is mad at us. Nobody is doubting us. Nobody's hating on us. Nobody's really checking for us like that except for ourselves, our own egos. So if we go back to the facts, if we look at what our clients have said, if we look at what our peers have said, if we look at our LinkedIn, right, we can see what we've accomplished. We can see that even if you feel like maybe you kind of just finessed this, or you did it out of luck, or you don't know how you did it, there was still something in you that was able to accomplish something. So just looking back at all the things that you've achieved, thinking about what skills you possess that got you here, looking at what people have said about you, asking your friends what, honestly, I ask my friends for affirmation sometimes. Words of affirmation is my primary love language. So for me, it just goes back to finding those tangible reminders of, I can actually do this.
Love
Yes,
that.
that's amazing. I do something very similar. I treat myself like a child. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm that adult who also is giving myself gold stars, like, go you, that's so good. And that helps me to like celebrate the small wins, but also the big wins. And that has helped me with my imposter syndrome. I've noticed, especially like just in the past month, how much my life has become better, because whether, for example, I make music, and this is something that I'm still very new to. So somebody who might be farther ahead in their journey, they might be getting 10,000 people to listen to their songs. For me, getting 1,000 ears to listen to my song is a big thing. It's really about the perspective that you're looking at things. So when you have a perspective of, I'm doing this for me and I'm happy for myself, it's easier for you to pat yourself on the back, as opposed to, let me compare myself to what I don't have to someone else. So similar to Shyne, I have like list on my computers where I'll write like all of my goals in red. And then as I achieve those goals, I'll go back and highlight them in green. And seeing those reds turns to greens, those things make me happy. Or I keep my to-do list so that I can see me Xing things out. So finding those small things that you like that are rewards, they help you to like combat your imposter syndrome. Also, like having a jar, and in that jar is like little notes, and at the end of the year you open them up and you're like, oh, I remember when I wanted 50 likes on a project that I worked on, and I got 50 people to look at my designs. That makes you feel so happy and special. And you realize like imposter syndrome really has to do with what you don't have. And you have to shift your focus to the things that you do have. And when you find that genuine shift, it feels amazing. So definitely just constantly reminding yourself that you are worthy and that there's not one way to do something.
Yes, love that. Okay, next question. Lauren asks, how do you handle creative block when it happens? Are you the type to take breaks or grind, grind, grind?
Yeah, I can go first on this one. I am definitely someone who likes to take breaks. I have a lot of things that I have to do on my everyday, going through classes, school, working with these companies, putting on amazing live session like this. I work in time blocks so that I don't get burned out and I don't force myself to do things. So I've learned that if you take these breaks, even when you're feeling your most creative, if you take a break and completely disassociate your mind from whatever that task is, you come back with a fresher perspective. So for me, that looks like I might be working on an assignment for an hour, and then I decide I'm going to take a 15-minute break. I close my laptop and I get on my Nintendo Switch and play Mario Kart. And for that, 2 minutes of me playing this game, all I'm thinking about is let's win. Oh, these colors are nice. I'm going to use this character, and I'm not focusing on my work. And then when I open it back up, I'm like, oh, wow, I didn't notice this. So I'm looking at it with a fresh set of eyes. So when there's a moment where I just can't get anything out, I don't force myself. I just completely shift my focus to something else. And you'll be surprised how fresh your ideas are when you come back after you completely remove yourself from what you really want.
I'm the opposite. I am the type to yeah, it's funny. I'm the type to grind, because what I've realized, at least about myself, is that normally when I'm experiencing block, it stems from one of two things. Either one, I'm afraid that whatever I make isn't gonna be good enough, and that's why I'm, like, feeling blocked because I don't know what's gonna be good. I don't know how to get to the good result that I'm looking for, or I'm uninspired. And for me, both of those things are easily remedied, right? If I don't think that I'm going to make something good enough, then all I have to do is remove my self judgment from the process and be okay to make bad things, be okay to fail. Like, I'd rather make something bad than not make something at all. And so for me, I just start putting out as much as I can until I can build something out of it, because sometimes in our careers and in business, like, we have deadlines, and if we hit block but something's due tomorrow, like, it's still due. So we kind of have to find these little, like, ways to jumpstart our creativity. And so it comes down to, for me, again, being okay to fail for a couple times, in order to get to something, in order to get to maybe a piece or a color or a font that's going to, like, get you to the next milestone. Or if I need inspiration, then I'll go outside, take a walk, listen to music, do something. But yeah, for me, I have to, like, push through the block, or else I'll just probably not do it ever and just keep avoiding it. So it's funny to see how we handle things differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm like in the middle of both of you because, like Shyne, if I'm stuck on something, I'll grind it out until I finish the thing, even though it is so ugly. I would not post this. But then I'm like Ariel, where I will, at that point, once it's finished, but it's not exactly where I wanted to be, that's when I'll take the break. Because at least the base, I like to get the base of my projects done and then take that time to, like, take a break and then come back to it later when I'm feeling a little bit more inspired. So it's so interesting to hear, like, all these different ways of working. Um, okay, we have another question here. So this is from Noel. So earlier you mentioned that both of you do, like, so many different things, and earlier you're starting music, and Shyne, you're going into entrepreneurship and like brand strategy and stuff. So Noel asks, could you touch on transitioning, like, careers into design? I work in healthcare and I'm looking to transition into UX design and working on building my design resume. So starting something completely new.
Yeah, I don't mind starting to speak to this one. So, something that I've always learned from the moment that I stepped foot into college was to create the kind of work that you want to do. So, this applies to you whether you're, a new grad, whether you're still a student, whether you're in your career but you're looking to transition. I think the biggest key is to create the stuff that you want to do and put it out there so that it can get noticed. I think that kind of is something that you can find throughout both mine and Ariel's stories of, we did things for fun. We did things that we wanted to do just because we wanted to do them, and that's how we got found, or that's how we got these connections. And I think a lot of times there's a lot of pressure around, like, how do I get a job in this field, or how do I get people to notice me, or how do I make my resume stand out? But we live in a really fortunate age of technology where people are getting discovered left and right. And of course, like, that doesn't need to necessarily be your case or your story, but if you create the work that you want to do, that'll help you build your repertoire and help you get discovered by some chance. So I would say, like, if you want to go into UI UX and you want to kind of pivot your career that way, just start putting your work out there, and it doesn't need to be finished, right? Build in public. Allow your kind of artistic identity to be formed in real time on social media so that people can be in that journey with you, and don't feel like you have to maybe wait until you're fully out of one stage to put yourself out there, I guess, is my advice.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think that to get a little bit more niche with what Shyne is saying, one thing that I've noticed, especially just speaking to UI and UX, if you see a company who you really enjoy their brand identity and you could see yourself maybe doing it a different way, do it a different way. So for example, like one of my favorite kinds of videos to watch on YouTube are people who like build out full merch lines for an artist that they don't work with, but they're like, it'd be cool if I got to do it, I would do it this way. So that's one way that you could build your portfolio. For example, if there's an app that you think is so cool, but like their layout maybe lacks to you and you want to build upon that, you can do that, and you can do it in your free time and don't feel like you have to have this loaded portfolio to get these opportunities, because you just have to show that you have the dedication and the skill to do it. And then also finding people who are in the positions working for the companies that you want to work for, and really like connecting with them because you like their line of work. You may think that they're cool people outside of their work. And so really connecting with them, getting to know them, and you'll get to know yourself in the process because you'll see what it's like to actually be in these jobs. So definitely connecting with the company, but at a more deep level. So connecting with the people who are actually in these departments creating these things, and then also just having fun. So if you see, for example, for me, because I like to make these fake ads, there may be a company that I'm super like into right now and I'm super passionate about. And I'd be like, you know what? If I was in their marketing department, I would create an ad like this and then just create it. And then you can keep your ideas, your personal ideas to yourself. So then when you have these connections, you can pitch yourself and then make money from it, because that's what we want a job. We want to make money. So easy way to still grow and learn without giving away, you know, the deets, is to find companies you're already passionate with and insert yourself unprovoked. And people actually like when you do this.
That is amazing. I think that's a really cool approach. Like, these brands didn't ask for an ad, but if you got there and create it for them and then they see it, it's cool that they can just like contact you and be like, "Hey, like can you like create something similar?" Like I feel like that's a really cool way to go about it and to go get noticed. Okay, so we have a couple people in chat asking about time management tips and like how do you balance a busy school student schedule while running your business and doing all of this creative stuff?
Yeah, I can go first because
Yeah.
this is my thing. Let me tell you, people ask me this question all the time. And there's a balance, but sometimes there's not. And I think that's really important to note, that sometimes you are going to fall through the cracks and have bad days. And sometimes you're going to have amazing days where you get everything on your time blocks. So for me, I keep my obligations in more than one place. So on my calendar that's on my computer, I have certain time blocks of, we want to be here studying at this time, or we want to be creating at this time, or this is just some time to just think or do whatever. I block off that time, and then I have a physical calendar and to-do list up on my wall. So I'm always reminding myself, hey, you have to do this. Hey, you have to do this. So writing things down. But some days are not good days. And I think that's a part of your balance too, like understanding this so you don't beat yourself up if you're not at every single meeting, or if you're missing, like if you miss something, hold yourself accountable, but also ask yourself, why did I miss this? How do I feel? And then figure out a new way. So writing it down, whether it's on your phone, your laptop, in physical writing. So for me, I manage everything by writing everything down and having a routine. If you have a routine, it's hard to shake it. So like waking up every morning at the same time, like getting up and doing things. Your days aren't always going to be the same, but if you put yourself into this structure, it's easier to be flexible around it, as opposed to being flexible and not knowing what you're going to do next.
That was so good. Time management is one of my weaknesses. So you're speaking to me right now. I'm gonna be super duper transparent with you all on this stream and say that time management is something that I really need to grow in. But that's also an encouragement to you. You don't have to be some perfect time managing guru to do it all and still, be successful to whatever degree that means for you. But I've been really working on it. So writing things down in my planner and my phone calendar and my Google Calendar is super helpful. Like Ariel mentioned, just having it in everywhere that I can see it to keep me reminded. But I think for me, it's been a lot of energy management more than time management. So I'm not super great about sticking to times, being on time. I honestly double booked myself with a class, so I'm missing class right now. Sorry, professor. But for me, it's all about the energy. Like sometimes I have energy for 4 hours at night, and that doesn't really go with my work schedule for the next day or my school schedule for the next day, but I have energy then. So I think it comes down to me, for me, managing my energy and knowing when I'm going to be the most productive, and kind of building my schedule around that rather than like the hours of the day. But yeah.
Cool, cool. All right. So now I would like to pivot into going a little bit more behind the scenes about how you create the awesome stuff that you do on social. So a little birdie told me that you all use Creative Cloud Express to create some of your stuff. So we're going to go into that. Ariel, would you like to show us how you make some of your
Yeah.
pieces?
Yeah, so first I'll give you guys like a little idea of what we're about to go through together so you have a little bit of context. One of the things that I did with my fake campaigns that I created for these companies, I turned them into products. And today I'm going to be showing you guys how easy it is to create a graphic that can also live on social, but can be turned into a t-shirt, a hat, like a physical product. For us, it's going to be a blanket. So first we're going to go into Creative Cloud, and I already knew my dimensions, so that's really important, kind of having some things prepared before you go in to make this process as smooth as possible. So for our graphic, first thing I want to do is I'm going to change my background to an image that I took. So very easy. You go to your folder and you choose the background image. So for us, we're going to be doing a Nike campaign. This is like a Nike graphic. We're going to be focusing on Kobe and his legacy. So first I have the picture of the basketball goal, and then I have another picture of me jumping. And one of the tools I use all the time is the remove background feature. It's super easy and it's very smart. So as you can see, that's a very clean job of me dunking this basketball. So I'm just going to add that there. That's one of my assets. This will change though as I get more things onto our canvas. So I'm going to go back and add another photo just to add some layers. So we have our second photo. I'm going to flip it. And then I'm going to also remove the background because I just want to make it more a part of what's going on in this graphic. So super easy. If you want to clean it up, you can. I'm not going to clean it up. Going to make it larger just to have it on the canvas, see, you know, the dimensions, how big it is. So I'm moving things around, all very, very easy features. And I'm going to add another photo. I'm going to add a pair of Kobe's. And you'll notice in some of my other blanket designs, if you go on my website, just having the aerial view of the shoes is just something that I do. I just like it. No real reason. I just think it's cool. So I'm going to add that in its usual spot that I put it, which is in the corner. So I know that's going to live there. The other features I'll move around. So I'm just moving that. And then I'm going to go into our enhancements and I want to make it darker just because I want this to be a very subtle graphic. But if you want, you can change the colors. You can really play around with your contrast, brightness, saturation. There's no one way to do anything. So when I'm in here creating, I'm literally just moving around these features to just get what I want. And then I'm going to move it up. In Creative Cloud Express, you get a lot of different options to move your items, to customize the way that they look. So I decided I wanted to flip my background, and I'm also going to flip my standing position. So as you can see, I'm just moving things around. This takes a lot of trial and error because I'm still gathering my thoughts. And then I see that I want to clean up my foot a little bit. So as you can see, I'm going in. I do all of this with my mouse on my laptop, so you don't need any fancy equipment. And I think that's something I really like about Creative Cloud because it's kind of like it's reading my mind. Like it knows what I want to do, and then it meets me there. So we want to clean that foot up a little bit, and I'm going to zoom back out. All very easy. And you can see my cursor everywhere it goes. Nothing gets messed up. So I think I really like that. The control on this platform is great. So I'm just going to play around with my enhancements again so we get some dimension going on so our different silhouettes don't blend in with each other. So I'm going to move the background around. And I wanted to add some text. So one thing that Kobe says a lot is that the legacy carries on. And so I'm going to go back in, add the text. I don't know where it went. So I added the legacies carries on. And one of my favorite features about Adobe is the extensive amount of fonts that they have. So you'll see me going through. I love that beside the name of the font, they have a little example. And so I can visually see it. And I'm like, I like this font. I'm not sure. I'm not sold on it quite yet in my process, but I really, really like it. I think it's cool. Usually, though, when I'm not doing a demo, I kind of already know the font. So I'll probably already imported the font from Adobe Fonts. So I don't have to look through. But just for the sake of this demo, I'm going through all of the fonts just so you guys can see that if you don't know what font you want, you can have it. And then you can curve it. I'm not going to curve it. I want to add an outline just to give it a little bit of depth. So I make my thick outline. That's just my own personal preference. And I decided I'm going to add it to the corner, the top corner. So I turn the opacity down a little bit just so it can blend in. But we're going to revisit the words again because I wasn't quite sold on how it looks now. Like to me, it doesn't look that cool. So I go back into my photos and I'm going to upload my Nike logo because this is a fake Nike ad. So we're going to remove the background so that it blends in. And look how perfect that is. Like, I just love that. And then I wanted to change the color. So I didn't want to use color because it gave me my background again. So I had to get a little bit creative. So I went to the filters and I just played around with this. I had no idea exactly what I wanted to do. And then I went to multiply just so it blends in. And yeah, no, that was super easy. And so now you see me kind of jazzing it up a little bit. I duplicated one of my silhouettes and I'm going to duplicate the second one. And all these are super easy. And if you don't know what a certain button means, all you have to do is hover over it and it'll tell you what it means and what it does. And it'll also give you some controls on your computer that you can use for future references if you prefer to control with the keyboard. And so I'm just playing around with the different filters I can put on the silhouettes so that they don't all blend in with each other. But it's still very subtle because I didn't want to take away from the overall graphic. But if somebody looks at this and they look close, they'll be like, oh, wow, that's 3 same silhouettes. Like it just adds that extra depth. So I'm still adding filters. And then I go back to my font because I'm like, I'm not the biggest fan of this right now. I think it could be changed a little bit. So I play around with it. And that's a part of the process, like trial and error, figuring out what you like and don't like. All things that I actually did when I was creating this. So now I'm going to go to my design assets because I want to add something else. I just don't know exactly what I want to add. And what I really like about Adobe Creative Cloud Express is that they give you a lot of options to play around with. So I added some texture. This is a very subtle thing, but it just adds to this kind of DIY feel that we're getting from this graphic. So I add some texture. I probably should have added texture last, but I didn't. So you'll see me move it around a little bit and move it down because I still am not quite sold on my font. And so you'll see at the corner, like once your font is activated, it'll send you a notification. So I go through the fonts again, and then I just go back to the one that I had. I was like, I'm not sure if this is what I want to use, but that's really a part of the creative process. Like you might not get it the first time, but because Adobe is so resourceful, you will most likely always find something that you really like or that you can come to a conclusion. So I realized maybe it was just the spacing. And so I spaced it out a little bit. And I think that added a little bit more of an edgy touch. So I played around with my line spacing, all things that are super easy to use. And I was sold on this now. I think it just adds a little bit more character to the graphic. And so I went back to my design assets because I wanted to find something that I could add under the words. And so that led me to, you guys are going to see it, just a little checkerboard type of grid print that I'm going to add to behind my words just to give it a little bit more dimension. And so I thought this was just so cool and so interesting. It reminded me kind of like that basketball net. So I added that in just to give it some more dimension. And so now wherever you look on the graphic, it's busy, but I like that it's busy because I'm a maximalist. So I add that in and I decide to bring my words on top. So I bring the opacity back up so it shines through. Shine. And yeah, I was satisfied with this graphic. It was everything that I wanted, so I downloaded it. So if you're going to turn this into a product, I could post this on Instagram, but I wanted to take it one step farther. So now we go back and I'm on a blank canvas and I add my mock-up. So if you want to put your graphic on a mock-up, it's very easy. So for us, we're working with a blanket design. So I knew my dimensions needed to be 5x6. And so I uploaded my graphic back into this new project and I just added it. So if I wanted to send this to my manufacturer, they would have the graphic and the mock-up. And so it's really easy because this is a high quality PNG that I can put on top. And now I have a nice little blanket mock-up and I could get this made into a real blanket, which is so cool. So I'm going to download this as a PNG because that's a high quality. And you get the option to do a solid color background or transparent, but I wanted to do transparent. And so now we have our blanket, and that's how you make a blanket graphic on Adobe Creative Cloud Express.
Oh my gosh, that demo was so good, Ariel.
Thanks.
My mouth was dropping the entire time. All right.
Thanks. I'm like, I hope I'm explaining this correctly. But yeah, it's super easy. That's the goal of that demo. Very easy.
Nice. All right, Shyne, take us behind the scenes of something that you've made.
Social media is a huge catalyst for getting your creativity out into the world, getting noticed, getting connected with the right people. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to create a super quick social graphic. Just in my experience, a little pro tip if you're taking notes, some types of social posts that work really well in sharing your process, and like I mentioned, kind of building in public, self-inventing as an artist online, are your story, pieces of your work, pieces of your process. A lot of people are really into seeing your process. They don't just want to see the final product. So, sharing sketches, sharing works in progress, time lapses, things like that. And social media is also really hugely pushing video content right now. So I think video is just the quickest short form way to capture people's attention and share a glimpse into you as an artist and into your life. So we are going to be creating a video cover, an IG Reels cover or story cover or IGTV cover, whatever form of video you want to use. But I want to equip you with a quick little walkthrough demo of how you could create something that's subtle, easy, but still eye-catching and something that's going to give people a glimpse into your life and hopefully get some eyes on your work. So we're going to open up Express, create IG story dimensions because that's the same size as a Reels cover. I'm super into gradients right now. Most designers are. So I'm just going to look up a gradient in the background section. This is super on brand for me if you've seen my branding. So I'm going to pick this one, but you can pick whichever one you would like. I'm going to scoot it over a little bit because I have a little vision in mind. And then next, we're just going to go over to text. So something that I want to give you a little tip is that designers, like really good designers, are masters of typography, but you don't have to be a master to design through your text. So this is just a way to show you that like you don't necessarily have to include a ton of elements or a ton of visuals to have a good design. And like Ariel, I'm a huge maximalist, but I just wanted to show you a little something outside of my personal style and yeah, just out of my comfort zone, honestly, to give you something that might be a little bit more relevant to you. So I'm just going to type in the title of my video, which is a day in my life. So just make your text. Good pro tip is to just duplicate your text. You don't have to start it over. Just keep duplicating and changing so that everything's the same size, same font, all that good stuff. And if you notice, I'm kind of breaking up some of the words into different text boxes. There's a specific reason for that, which I'm about to show you, but you just have to wait 1 second. Okay. So I have all the text here that I want to have for now. And then what I'm going to do is just choose a font that's a different font to kind of spice things up a little bit. So for this one, I used Newhouse Grotesque, and now I'm going to use Nautica. So this is like a cool cursive font that just adds a little flavor into the mix. But it's still, as you can see, like it's still minimalistic. It's still very simple. It's nothing too wild or nothing too hard. But it just adds a little bit of flair to the design. And then for this one, I'll just choose one by looking at them. So let's go with this. Ooh, so many options. Okay, let's go with Mencken. We'll go with Mencken, a serif, and then just scoot it over so it looks like it's one word. And boom, now you look like you're an expert designer because you've got all these different type designs. So that's a little pro tip. And then I'm just gonna bring in a photo of myself. You can add a photo of you. I just like to use my brand photos because they're super easy to find. Okay. Okay. And then I'm gonna use the remove background tool, which is also one of my favorites because I love to collage and just put things together. So remove background is my best friend. Cool. Make it big, put it in the corner of the image. And I actually want to add one more piece of text. So day in my life, and we'll say as a content creator. Where are my content creators at? If you're a content creator, say what's up in the chat. Okay. And then something that I want to do, this is also like very trendy right now. So I'm going to show you how to do it through Express. Go down here to shape, make it the same color as the text, hit mask text. Nope. There we go. Hit mask text and make this bigger. And then you can change the shape to this little rounded pill shape. And now you've got this like super trendy design, super cool. It makes you look like you're a type designer, but you did it in a couple minutes using Express. So that's my super quick demo. Just wanted to show you how you can make a Reels cover, video cover for a video that'll give people a glimpse of your life and hopefully get you noticed.
Amazing. Oh my gosh. So there you have it, folks. Two very different styles and two different use cases, all easily made within Creative Cloud Express. So we have time for one more question, and this is a big one, so it might take a little bit of noodle scratching. Okay, so one last question. If folks were to take one important thing away from this stream, also like your last piece of advice, the most important thing that you want to leave with everyone, what would it be?
Yeah, I'll start. I would say that there's not one way to do anything. Like there are no rules, right? We get to choose what those rules are. So I know for me, a lot of times going back to that imposter syndrome, especially with Adobe's products, I'm like, I don't know how to use Premiere Pro, or I don't know how to use this because it's too complicated. And it's like, this is not what the professionals do, but it's like, no, you are a professional and you get to invent what the professionals do. And if that means you're using Creative Cloud Express or half the projects used on this platform and you go over and use another project, you are in control of what you're doing and where you're going. And don't psych yourself out because it may not be somebody else's path, because you're creating your own path. So if anybody takes anything, that you are the creator. Like you are the creator. So create, whether that's your journey, whether that's a physical product, be in charge. Don't let someone take control over what you're creating, because there's not one way to do it.
Nice.
So good. That is right up my alley too. If you know me or you follow me on socials, you'll know I'm all about doing things your own way, doing things differently. So this is why Ariel and I vibe. This is why we're here together, because we get it. We're on the same page. I think my biggest takeaway is probably that it's closer and easier than you think sometimes. And I mean, I totally get, like, we all come from different backgrounds, different places of privilege, different connections. But on the whole, I think what I would want you to take away from this and my story and kind of watching me is that you never know what opportunity is going to be on your doorstep tomorrow. You never know who somebody you know knows. Something that I've learned is like, I'll ask people like, hey, does anyone know someone who's in this industry? And my own dad will be like, oh yeah, I have like 5 friends in that. Like, I didn't even know that. Like, you don't necessarily know what's um, in your network or what opportunities are right next to you until you kind of open yourself up to them. So for me, it's definitely taking the leap, saying yes, just taking the leap of faith, not, I don't want to say not caring about how you'll get there, but not putting so much importance on knowing how to get somewhere before saying yes to doing it. I have said yes to projects and lines of work and opportunities that I knew absolutely nothing about, but I'm willing to learn in the process, right? I'll say yes and then learn how, so then I can take the opportunity and learn something from it. But I think not shutting yourself out to opportunities because you don't know how, or you feel underqualified, or you're scared, or you've never done it before. Just say yes, take the leap of faith. I never ran a business before. I never did X, Y, and Z before, but I was able to do it. So you don't have to have experience directly in something to be good at it. You have a lot of transferable skills. You have a unique approach, a unique personality. So don't discount yourself. Don't be the person that gets in your way. If somebody else wants to get in your way later and say no or stand in your way, that's their problem, but don't be that person to yourself.
Boom. There it is. Mic drop. And that concludes the Q&A session. Thank you so much for tuning into the stream. We hope you found inspiration and value from the session, and we'll want to continue the conversation over Discord because, like I said earlier, we are having an after party. So if you thought the Q&A is really short, we have like 10 minutes left. What the heck? That's because we're continuing hanging out in the after party channel on Discord. So you can ask more questions for Shyne and Arial. And if you can't make it to the after party, no worries. You can connect with us on social. Lisa dropped our handles down below. You can reach us on there. And yeah, so for everyone who stayed to this part of the stream, let's talk about that giveaway. Okay, so we have 3 really fun remixable templates, of course, on Creative Cloud Express. And we want to know who your dream company or client that you'd like to work for is, and we're going to manifest it. We're going to put it out into the universe, and we're going to put it on LinkedIn. So all you have to do is just click on one of these templates and then have it load up. And then all you have to do, there are 3 different kinds of templates, so feel free to pick whatever speaks to you the most. You can change, all you have to do is just change the photo. I put in a placeholder here. And then you can also put the company name here. So it's super easy. I'll just do it really quick. Just click on the cutout, hit replace, and then all you have to do, you can upload your own photo, or if you have Lightroom, which I do, select photos wherever you have it stored. And then it's just going to add it just like that. You can just resize it and put it where it needs to be. And then for the company name, of course, I'm going to put Adobe because Adobe, low-key, my dream job when I was first starting my post-grad journey. Like, no lie, I was walking past the Adobe building and I was like, ooh, one day. So 3 years later, I am here. So this exercise definitely works. Putting things out into the universe definitely works. But that is a subject for another day. And then we're just gonna adjust the text so it looks like the Adobe Red, and then boom, there it is. Then you hit download, and then you are going to post it on LinkedIn with the hashtag Adobe Dream Job and hashtag Express It for a chance to be randomly selected for a one-on-one mentoring session with Shyne or Arial, and a free 1-year Creative Cloud subscription. That is awesome. Bonus points if you post your design or link it to the challenge submissions channel in the Creative Career Discord. So in this channel right here, the challenge entries. So just post them here, either a link from the LinkedIn post that you posted or posting the design on here. We will take a look at it and we cannot wait to see what everyone made. Awesome. Okay, so with that said, thank you all so much for joining, and thanks to Shyne and Arial for joining us this evening. This talk was amazing, and I hope you all have a good rest of your night, and I will see you at the Discord after party. All right, bye-bye. Woo!